From the crossroads of America to the farthest corners and beyond, this is Table Talk, the podcast where we're diving deep into the heart of Indiana and above and beyond.
Everybody tap in with Mimi exclusive.
Hey.
Everybody tap in with Mimi exclusive.
Hey.
Everybody tap in with Mimi exclusive.
Hey. Hey, you already heard my boy. He said tap in with Mimi exclusive. You already know what it is. What's happening? What's up, y'all? It's your girl Mimi exclusive in the freaking cut. Now listen, we are definitely about to get into it today on that case that we all love to talk about. Well, at least not everybody, but myself personally, I love to talk about because I be trying to figure it out, and I just think it's just something, it's just something that just is not settling right with me. Okay? And it's just what it is. Period, point blank. I don't care about nobody else's what, who, how, where. We just gonna make it make sense for me. Okay? Now, I do have some brand new eye-opening information to share with you guys today about the Tory Lanes and the Megan Thee Stallion case. I stumbled across a website that, let's just say, it has dropped some shocking new evidence, and I am going to break it all down for you. This is just the beginning. Now, I'll be following up on this case with more updates and the story. Just as it unfolds, I'll be right there to break it down with you guys. Now, make sure that you subscribe, hit that notification bell, make sure you don't miss any new shocking developments. Okay, let's get right into it, y'all. So, this is Megan Thee freaking Stallion. What's going on with her? What is really going on with her? Tory Lanez, just how everything is moving at this point. It's just giving what is up, okay? Now, when this story first came out, people were on it, but they weren't on it. I don't know if we were distracted. Yeah, I'm going to say it, distracted by COVID or not. But this young lady, Kelsey, right here, yeah, she got some, listen, she got some explaining to do. But we're going to get in that quite later. I want y'all to comment down below if y'all feel like Miss Kelsey got some explaining to do. Because honestly, I feel like she got some explaining to do. I ain't even gonna. Now, what I want to freaking get into, okay, I just was, just so happy and being nosy and, that thing that we call minding our business. And I looked into the Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion case a little further. And I just so happened to stumble across this website that was giving such intricate details. I mean, I did not know how to humble myself. Okay. Now, this website was breaking everything down by fact checklist, by table of contents. I mean, this is okay. I'm not even gonna hold you. I wanted to share it with y'all, and I wanted to be like, okay, let's do this in about an hour. Give me 1 second while I pull up the freaking whole entire thing here. Give me one moment. I'll pull up this website because it really kills me to know that I found a website that is. We're gonna go ahead and get this website shared. We're gonna get into this website. This website is freaking crazy. Let's go from the. Now, what it says is that truth becomes clear When the facts come to light, key inconsistencies, unreliable testimonies, and Tory Lanez was convicted based on a flawed and incomplete narrative. Now, through Megan Pete's own words, testimonies, reports, police reports that might be, and an expert analysis, the facts suggest that Tory Lanez did not fire the weapon and tried to stop to conflict. Okay, so basically, whatever was going on, they're basically saying that Tory Lanez tried to stop whatever was going on. Now, the case deserves to be reconsidered as the evidence points to the different truths. We do have a fact checklist here. Let's go through this fact checklist. It starts by saying that one, Megan told the police and the doctors that she stepped on glass. Now, this is video and officers that actually had a testimony that said this. Also, that Sean Kelly's testimony, two women fought in the street. One fired first. Tory was still in the car. That was Kelsey had shot first. Boom. Tory was still in the car. Miss Kelsey. And Miss Kelsey did test positive for gunshot residue. Her DNA was never tested against the gun. Kelsey received free rent for a year after the shooting. My questions are, who paid for that and why? Now, EJ and an object in the girl's luggage says that it looked like the gun. Megan claims she spoke out to representatives to Tory, but the timeline provides she went public first, although that was her whole argument. Tory's DNA was not found on the magazine, only on 0.0.1% of the gun. Statistically irrelevant. 90% of DNA on the gun belonged to an unknown male, not Tory. There is Tory's jail call, which is an apology about the drama of sleeping with two friends, not a shooting. Tory was repeatedly said, I would never do anything like this. There were no bullet fragments on X-ray, no nerve damage, fractures, or joint trauma in Megan's medical records. Now, there was no bullet fragments that were lost. Never was bullet fragments presented at trial. And prosecutors misused Tory's rap lyrics, as in his tattoos, his uncharged allegations, to sway the jury. Kelsey's story changed multiple times. As you notice, I said multiple times. She admitted to lying under pressure. And Megan's own timeline and injuries do not match up with the story of the shooting. There is table of contents. I'm going to read these table of contents pretty fast. They're stepping into the truth, glass and gunshot. What did Megan say happened in the hospital? Timeline contradicts Megan's claims. Megan and Kelsey had a physical altercation. Sean Kelly's testimony, Sean Kelly's statement, and to the investigators' sworn eyewitness testimony. EJ's testimony suggests gun in girl's bag. Harris' testimony inconsistencies and unreliable. And Kelsey confirms she was not bribed. DNA provides Tory Lane's innocence, and text messages evidence appears edited. Otto undermines the dance. B claim medical facts don't match the narrative. Forensic red flags and medical doubt. The fragments went missing. Megan's faulty claims and med records. Moments that showed Tory cared. Misinterpreted apology. What Tory really meant. And the prosecutorial misconduct concerns, which are one of my most important. Now, in her own words, it says, I ain't get cut by no glass. Let me tell you why they're saying that. Let's listen.
But let me tell you why they saying that.
Now, why are they saying that, Miss Megan? This stallion? Now, it says here that we're going to go ahead and step into the truth. By doing that, we're going to figure out if she got cut by glass or a gunshot. Now, the following 1, 2, 3, 4A, and 4B show Megan Thee Stallion injured at the scene, stating that she was cut by glass and not shot. Officers on site also confirmed that she stepped on glass, a glass bottle to be exact. Now, these facts are key in understanding the intentional reports of the shift in her last statements. We got these evidential pieces of circumstantial evidence here. I don't understand why they want to use it in trial.
Ma'am, do you think we're gonna go to jail?
What's that?
Do you think we're gonna go to jail?
I don't know. We're trying to figure it all out. As long as you guys cooperate with us and you guys tell us what happened, we'll go accordingly, okay? But if you guys are not telling us, if you guys are, then I don't think.
I really cannot go to jail.
Okay.
I cannot have that on my image.
Okay. So how did that happen to you?
Glass.
Glass? Where?
Where we were coming from. Hey, can we like shoot the But I'm not from here, so I.
Okay.
That's the only place you got shot at? That's the only place you got shot?
I didn't get shot.
Oh, you did it?
Oh, man. I mean, no, sir.
Yeah.
Any evidence of any shooting or anything? That's how we got dispatched.
Well, we have the gun here, and then we have other units. They're searching the house where it happened. So that's all we have so far.
So nothing happened in this vehicle.
No, we don't have any casings. No.
Okay, from what you've been told.
And then there's some cash over. Looks like.
Was the person who got shot with the other people here that you have in handcuffs? Were they all together?
They were all together.
Yes, they were all in the same car.
Okay. And then, do we know how she got cut?
I believe when she stepped down, there's a glass.
She dropped a glass bottle, and then I think she stepped on it and cut herself. And getting out of the vehicle.
Okay. So her friends didn't cut her then.
Right.
Well,
How did she get cut? Her friend did not cut her. She got cut stepping out of the vehicle. All of this stuff is building a case. That's why I'm not understanding how this man got convicted, but we'll continue.
It's right down in Florida.
yeah.
Rear passengers step out of the vehicle.
It's right down in Florida.
Yeah.
Rear passengers step out of the vehicle. See your hands. Show us your hands. Hold your hands up. Okay? Come out, people passenger with their hands up. Hands up. Alright, move back to the sound of my voice. Keep your hands up. Move back to the sound of my voice. Move back. Keep going. Keep going. Hey, stop. Move to the left. Keep moving.
It's right down in Florida.
Yeah.
As you can see in that video, it was clearly some glass.
She cut herself when she stepped out.
This is what the man said. I'm going to have to replay it.
She cut herself when she stepped out.
Okay, she cut herself when she stepped out. That is what they're saying. Now listen.
Move back to the sound of my voice.
Move back.
Back.
Oh,
Keep
she
going.
cut herself.
Keep going.
One more time.
Move back to the sound of my voice.
Move back.
Back.
Oh,
Keep
she
going.
cut herself.
Keep going.
Oh, she cut herself. Okay. And then what else do we have? Now, in her own words, she says, police be was so rude. Let's see what she's talking about. Why would she say that?
I get to the motherfucking hospital, the police bitch being so rude to me. Well, what's going on? Like, da-da-da-da, you're being detained, da-da-da. Ma'am, I'm being detained, I'm leaking. But I'm still not saying what happened. Shit crazy.
Well, what happened in the hospital, Megan? What did Megan say happened in the hospital? Police calmly spoke with Megan, who said she stepped on glass and mentioned she had already had cuts on her foot from stepping on glass days before.
And so what happened was you were just one ball stepping on glass. I had another cut on my right foot. I just stepped on glass the other day. So you were already hurt when you got to the ambulance. And then at that point, your friends were running down and running to the hospital.
She said I had another cut on my right foot. I just stepped on glass the other day. Now, if you look at the top, I did want to stop here and take a minute to support their Patreon or their petition or whatever it is that these people who created this website that have all this evidence stands for. It says click here to help free Tory. Sign the petition requesting the governors to partition him. If you look at the top, if you would like to participate in that, I just want to say that. Yeah, shout out to you. And we digress. In her own words, she says, I tried to keep it off the internet. However, they saying Megan spoke first. Let's listen.
So, since y'all hoes so worried about it, yes, this nigga Tory shot me. You shot me. And you got your publicists and your people going to these blogs lying and shit. Stop lying. Why lie? I don't understand. I tried to keep the situation off the internet.
We don't quite believe that, Megan. Let's take a look here at this timeline. Contradicts Megan's claim. Now, Megan's claim, she spoke out in response to Tory, but the timeline shows that she went public first. Here she is right here. Let's go ahead and get into this. Nothing negative as this. This is why I didn't want to say nothing in the first place. This would have never came out if Tory would have never went to the internet telling everybody his side of the story. That is her claim. Terrible. They say, listen, let me get over here. It says terrible because I didn't even want to say anything in first. So not only did I not say anything, but now you want to get ahead of it and make yourself look like you some type of victim? Why you did not want to say anything in the first place? Mrs. Morrison. Objection. Ask the answer. Court. I think you've covered that. Mrs. Ty. What was your plan when the first happened as far as what you would say? I wasn't going to say anything. I didn't want it to go anywhere. I was embarrassed. Now let's look at this timeline here, okay? The timeline dates all the way from, July the freaking 15th of 2020, where Megan makes a status where she actually posts about being shot. That's where she says the narrative that is being reported about Sunday morning's events are inaccurate, and I'd like to set the record straight. On Sunday morning, I suffered gunshot wounds as a result of a crime that was committed against me and done with the intention to physically harm me. I was never arrested. The police officers drove me to the hospital where I underwent surgery to remove the bullets. I incredibly, gracefully to be alive and that I expected to make a recovery. But it was important for me to clarify the details about the traumatic event. I am currently focused on my recovery. So I return back to my life and back to making music as soon as possible. First of all, notice she said that she went and got surgery and she got the bullets removed. Okay. And again, this was on 7/15. Now, 7/16, the day after, Megan names Daystar to the police. Now, we all know Daystar has to be Mr. Tory Lanes. Now, on the 27th, which is about a week later, Megan Thee Stallion had an emotional IG live about Tory Lanez and the situation. She goes live. It was actually on this date, July 27th of 2020. It was Tory Lanez's birthday. Now, Megan publicly names Daystar as the shooter. She names him that the next month later on the 20th. And on the next month after that, which is the 24th, Tory Lanez finally responds. He says, to all my fans, I'm so sorry for silence, but respectfully, I got time to die. 9 p.m. PST. Okay? He got time today. Quit playing with that boy. Now, 10/20/20, which is about a month after that, he finally had his first live where he spoke about the situation and he actually responds to Miss Megan Pete. Let's continue. Here's a screen recording saying, let's go down. Her own words. I never put my hands on anybody. But evidence says otherwise.
I never put my hands on anybody. I never raised my voice too loud. Like, this was one of them times where it was like, it shouldn't have got this crazy.
It shouldn't have escalated to the way that it did.
So I get out the car and it's like everything happens so fast. Yes. And all I hear is this man screaming. He said, dance. He started shooting. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, he shot a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. You gay fake, girl. After you start messing with your hair, after you say that, you said dance, bitch. I'm like, oh my God. But, however, she said, I didn't put my hands on nobody. I didn't raise my voice to somebody. Nothing happened crazy. Okay, so you already we already know from what we've seen that you lied about having sexual relations with Tory Lanez. We're going to put that on the sidebar, though. We're going to talk about this other lie that she told, is which you didn't put your hands on nobody and that you didn't yell at nobody. But Megan and Kelsey had a physical altercation. Why did you not talk about that? It says eyewitnesses and physical evidence indicate a physical fight between Megan Pete and Kelsey Harris. It says Kelsey had an open wound and cuts on her leg that were actively bleeding. No injuries were reported on Tory Lanez. The fight was between the women. Okay? That's what they're saying. It had nothing to do with Tory. It was about Tory, but it had nothing to do with him getting in between. Take a look at Kelsey's legs here. They are bruised. Look at those. Clearly a fight. Look at her forehead. The arrow pointing here. She had a knot. Look at Tory. He okay. Now, they did say that Megan came up with a song called Shots Fired, surprisingly. And the name of the song has something to do with what she said here in these lyrics. Who a snitch? I ain't never went to the police with no names. I thought a bitch that got her chain snatched. Caught the lost had something to say. Hey, I don't know how to rap or rhymes or whatever. Now, In her own words, she also said that there was a witness. Hey, yes, there was a witness. His name was Sean Kelly.
The people in the neighborhood, there's a witness. When the police came, because the neighbors called the police.
The neighbors called the police. There was a witness. His name was Sean Kelly. Now, Sean Kelly's testimony, now he was an eyewitness. Let me just make that clear. The eyewitness, Sean Kelly, told the police in evidence A or 818, he said that later testified that under oath that he saw two women fighting in the street. I thought you said, Megan, that no one, you weren't fighting anyone or you didn't raise your voice at anyone. Let's go ahead and listen to the body cam footage. And we're also going to head and read the transcript. Let's read the transcript first. Matter of fact, so we can put it all into perspective. The transcript says, question, and what did you see next, sir? A, they were fighting. They had started fighting. Question, the two girls? Answer, yes. Question, and when you say the two girls were fighting, could you describe the jury what you observed, what they were doing, and what they were fighting about? Not about, but how they were fighting. Answer, they were pulling hair and hitting each other, and it was quite violent. Question, it was violent. This is initially when you still only see the two girls, correct? Answer, yes. Question, and what happened at this point? Was the fight continuing? Was it stopped? Answer, they were fighting for a while because I told my son to come into my room and I asked him to get into my bed. And then they were still fighting. They were all bent over, sort of wrapped in each other, fighting. All right, let's take a look here at the evidence. Okay.
Wait. No, it didn't. No?
They shot out of the car?
The windows were open, that's why it sounded like either way. Yeah, I didn't know they were on my side. The girl opened the door, two girls fighting, and then they shot. And she got out of the car and crawled over.
Now you heard that with your own two ears. Okay. Let's clock it and let's stand on it. People ain't lying. Everything is not making sense because it's making sense. Now listen, it all ties in. I promise you it does. Let's let this rabbit hole sink. So Sean Kelly's testimony was that two women were fighting. And again, I'm going to read that one of them fired the first two shots while Tory was still in the car. He said Tory got out afterwards and tried to take the gun away. Now, here's the evidence for this. It says, okay, question. Okay, did you state that the shorter gentleman did not come out of the car until the initial shot or the fireworks had started? Answer, yes. Question, excuse me. Answer, yes. Question, so when the initial shot or the fireworks had started, is it true that you stated that my client was still in the car? Answer, yes. I believe so. Question, the shorter gentleman was in the car. Answer, yes. Question, okay. And did you state that initially you saw the two girls fighting? Answer, I did, yes. Question, did you say that after you saw the two girls fighting, you saw one of the girls shoot, sir? Answer, I believe so, but question, therefore, did you say that the shooter got involved at that point, trying to take the gun away. Mr. Bott, objection. Leading the court. The court overruled. Is that what you said? Question. Is that what you said? Answer. The witness. Yes. Now, Sean Kelly's statement to the investigator, let's talk about it. Because in a separate interview, Sean Kelly said he saw Kelsey and Megan fighting violently, with Kelsey, which was the rear passenger, attacking Megan, which was the front passenger. The driver, which was Jaquan, he tried to intervene. But he also stated that women fired a gun while Tory Lanes, described as the shooter, black guy. That must be messed up, though, to have your shooter be like, I don't know. Like, what are you useful for, bro? So he said that the driver, Jaquan, had intervened, and he stated that a woman fired the gun while Tory Lanes, described as the shooter, black guy, or excuse me, not the shooter. The shorter black guy was still in the back seat of the SUV, and there was no way that Tory had fired the gun 5 times. Let's look.
The doors of the Escalade open, and the girl come out and pull open the passenger door and started screaming and yelling at somebody in the car.
So the girl who came out of the passenger, you're talking about the front passenger?
No, the rear.
The rear passenger. So the girl comes out of the rear passenger and she goes to the front passenger?
Yes.
And she opens up the car door?
Yes.
And then what happens?
They start they're screaming and shouting at each other and they start fighting.
The 2 girls?
Yeah, I can see one like feet coming out trying to kick her and the other one's fighting, and then the passenger gets out.
So the girl who does the punching and the kicking is the girl that comes out of the back passenger?
The front, can we stop there? Because I don't want to. I'll tell you, and then I want to get my son's on his own.
Yeah, I understand. And it's loud with the cars.
I don't really want to. So basically, the car stopped. The girl in the back got out, started screaming and shouting, ripped the door, pulled the door open, but pulled it so sort of viciously that's why I presume the driver got out. She starts screaming, she starts hitting the girl. The girl then had to sight her feet come out, she starts to kick the girl away. The passenger, they get out, they start fighting here. They start fighting. The driver comes around and tries to sort of break it up. It gets a bit more violent. And between them, the girl then climbs back into the front driver passenger seat.
Where's the shorter black guy?
He's in the back.
He's in the back of the car? Okay.
The shorter black guy is in the back of the car. Are y'all hearing this, or am I tripping? Sean Kelly describes Kelsey as being in the rear passenger seat. He also describes explicitly saying the girl shoots. Now listen.
Then the gun. Then the girl shoots herself. So the driver's door's open.
You're seeing the girl shoot?
Can I help you?
Have an appointment, please.
I think, is it this house?
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So you see the girl doing the shooting?
I see what appears to be the girl standing here and shooting into the car. That's what it looked like to me. But it was dark, and I'm above. So, but then the guy gets out again from the back.
So if you can kind of see from just evidence 9C and 9D, with Kelsey's statement, which is what we're going to get into next, that was the part that was hard. Because, of course, you got Megan's side, you got his side, and then you got the truth. And I feel like they were dependent upon Kelsey to be the truth, but because she was acting so inebriated or like she didn't see anything, and then you got the witness like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of uncorroborated stories. So let's go into it now. We have a sworn eyewitness testimony. And we're going to get into this because I didn't get into this last time. There was a key eyewitness that corroborated Sean Kelly's story. It says, I was the driver and bodyguard of Mr. Daystar Peterson, who is better known as Tory Lanes, in July 2020. Mr. Peterson has been known to me for 7 years. At the time of the incident, I had worked for Mr. Peterson for 3 years. He has only been my employer, but I also consider him to be a close and personal friend. It says, on July 12th, 2020, I asked to drive Mr. Peterson to the home of Kylie Jenner, where Mrs. Pete, Megan Pete, and Kylie Harrison were present. Mr. Peterson was at Mrs. Jenner's home for approximately 2 hours, where I received a call to come pick up Mrs. Pete and Mrs. Harrison. Mrs. Pete and Mrs. Harrison and myself left Mrs. Jenner's home, but I was asked by Mrs. Pete to because she said that she had forgotten the shoe. So she wanted to return back, but she said she had forgotten the shoe. Now, when she arrived to Mrs. Jenner's home at the time, Mrs. Harrison stayed in the car while Mrs. Pete exited. Mrs. Pete did not enter the home at the time as well. She went to the back of the pool area where Mr. Peterson was located. And Mrs. Pete and Mr. Peterson returned to the car after a few minutes later. Mr. Pete was beckoning, but I was unaware of the contact wounds from the car to a few. Mrs. Pete was beckoning, but I was unsure of the contact wounds from saying she seemed upset. The four of us, Mrs. Jenner's, left Mrs. Jenner's residence. Okay, as I began to drive Mrs. Pete to fight Mr. Peterson, they were going back and forth. I remember Mr. Pete, that he was going to tell Mrs. Harry what was going on, Mrs. Harris. I did not know what street we were on, but Mr. Pete did not stop the vehicle. I did as she asked, and Mrs. Pete went to sit on a nearby bus stop. Mr. Peterson went and spoke with Mrs. Pete about 2 minutes, but returned to the car, and I began driving again. Mrs. P started in the argument again. Okay, so they're saying make him stay and start the argument again. And Mrs. Harrison asked what was going on. Mr. Peterson had told her that he and Mrs. Pete had been dating and, intimate. Mrs. Pete was upset by this, and she and Mr. Peterson had been dating the same man. Okay. I pulled over, I stopped, I got out, the vehicle continued, and physically, I saw Mrs. Harrison with the gun in hand. Mr. Peterson ran behind Mrs. Pete and myself beyond Mr. Harrison. So what's going on with dang on Tory? Because, baby, they ain't playing about him. Now, Mrs. Harrison, Mr. Peterson began struggling as Mr. Peterson tried to unarm Mrs. Harrison. I was still pulling Mr. Pete, did not see who shot the weapon. I was lucky I was not harmed. And in opinion, Mrs. Pete was fortunate. The whole incident happened so quickly within just a couple minutes. I just wanted to present the evidence during Mrs. Pete's trial because she was prevented from doing so as a district attorney was not ready to cross-examine, and later they did not call me due to the holidays and court schedule. I believe I would have been allowed to present the evidence at trial. Okay, so boom. Now there was EJ who had a testimony to suggest that the gun in girl's bag was a gun. Now EJ, which is making the stylings. Okay, you know what? We're gonna get into this a little bit later. I'm gonna have to stop this one. And we're gonna do a part 2. Okay. And we gonna start back off at EJ. Okay. Now what's happening? What's up, y'all? It's your girl Mimi and she fired up. Man, listen. I love y'all. And yeah, it's your girl Mimi exclusive. Tune in. Are you tuned up?